Hey hashtag, I'm Caroline Torpey and I'm back this week to give you a recap of Matt's latest episode as the Bachelor. So as for last week's episode, there was definitely a lot of drama that unfolded, a lot of group dates, and a very special one-on-one. So be sure to stick around to hear all the latest gossip and drama that unfolded. So during last week's episode, Matt was still a little upset over Sarah's departure, but he decided to reconnect with Abigail, who he gave the first impression rose to. So they had a great conversation, but he also connected with Mari and MJ, and he also talked to some other girls too. But ultimately he decided to give the rose to Chelsea, and there were a lot more roses to come. So during the later part of the night, Matt actually was in for a huge surprise, as well as all the viewers. The producers decided to pull in some new girls for the season. So Matt, of course, was so excited by this because he had more girls on his season, but the girls were so upset. Of course, this also was happening right after Victoria talked to Matt. So Matt and Victoria were having a great conversation and apparently a great connection, according to Victoria, and he left. So Victoria was so upset because she was saying that she finally had time with Matt and finally was starting to get to know him. Needless to say, Matt was so happy about the new girls, and Brittany, one of the new girls, introduced herself with a kiss to Matt. So the girls in the house were not thrilled, and they weren't so nice to the new girls right off the bat. Besides this, the girls ended up going on a group date. So during this group date, Anna and Brittany already didn't have a good connection, and it's kind of clear that there will be some drama in between them later in the episode. So former Bachelor star Ben Higgins ended up arriving on this group date to help them with the Fall in Love obstacle race. So during this race, the girls had to do a bunch of silly activities in order to get more time with Matt. So they were doing all these crazy things, and ultimately Mari won the race and she got a trophy and eventually more time with Matt. But this wasn't the main part of the episode. So Anna and Brittany had more drama that was only stirring, and this was all beginning and starting right when Anna was talking to Matt, and Brittany, of course, interrupted and asked for more time. So of course, in Bachelor Nation, you know you shouldn't do that unless you want to be a villain or a target or just have a bad rep. So Anna decided to talk to Victoria, who of course is notorious for drama, and there was a huge bomb that was revealed during this part. So apparently Victoria and Anna were discussing that Brittany tried to entertain men for money. So this was very controversial. A lot of people in Bachelor Nation were talking about this because, first of all, they were judging this girl, and also her reputation was ruined. Brittany, of course, was so upset by this and really hurt because she was just trying to get some time with Matt, and it just ruined her reputation in the Bachelor world and also in the house. Anna even confronted Brittany about this, and she denied it, and from then on, Matt actually had no idea what was going on and was so oblivious, but it was very tense in the house. So after Anna confronted Brittany, Matt decided to give the rose to Michelle, and then we go on to the one-on-one date. So during the one-on-one date, Michelle and Matt had a fun little trip, and it was clear they had a connection. I was actually surprised that Michelle got the one-on-one date this week because she was one of the new girls that came in. Besides the point, Michelle talked about her teaching career and how she wanted to make an impact, and it was really meaningful and really sweet, and she got the rose, of course. And after this, there was another group date. Now during this group date, it was really interesting because it was so unexpected and out of nowhere. The girls had a boxing match, and this was very intense, very surprising, because the girls went all at it. And I personally know that I don't think I would be up for the challenge, so I give props to all the girls who were doing it. But Matt decided to stop this whole entire group date when Serena P got punched in the face, and let's just say it wasn't a great ending. But it was very entertaining to watch, and it was definitely something that I know I would be a little intimidated to do. During the evening portion of the night, though, Matt spoke to some other girls, and Katie decided to stand up for the new girls. So all the girls were ranting about how the new girls were taking time away from Matt, but Katie stepped in and said that we should accept the new girls and that they should all be nicer to them and kinder to them, but the girls were not having it. They were so upset because the new girls were taking away their time with Matt. So Katie decided, you know what, I'm going to talk to Matt about this and I'm going to try to end this bullying. So for next week's episode, we saw a glimpse of Katie and Matt discussing the bullying in the house, but for now we have to stick around until next week to hear the whole entire conversation. So be sure to tune in to #that next week for the latest Bachelor breakdown, and I'll give you guys the latest updates. Bye!